Everybody. How are you guys doing? Yeah. So why we are meeting today is something we thought everybody's talking about AI and prompts and everything. So I had this idea, let's do something around prompting. So I had a friend reached out to him and he readily agreed. So I'm going to invite him and we kind of do some things with prompting. All right, and then I'm going to explain what the format is and how we can progress in different episodes. All right. So let me introduce, my co-host for today, and he is Vlad. So he has an advertising background. He's worked with ad agencies in Chicago, and now he's the founder of Move, which is an agency focusing on helping businesses implement smart automation in their sales and marketing processes. He's also building and launching a learning platform for entrepreneurs and professionals to learn the skills of the future, launching in December this year. All right, so just go ahead and welcome Vlad. Hi, Vlad. How are
Hey,
you?
hey everyone. Thank you for having me, Alec, and thank you for the introduction as well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, no, no, pleasure, man. Pleasure is all mine. So, Vlad, can you just describe in few sentences why we here?
Yeah, so I think you had an incredible idea, which is something that I've been pondering about as well, which is to see how different generative AI tools, specifically ChatGPT and Bard, could react to different prompts, right? We know that there's a plethora of AI assistants out there that utilize this generative language, and we wanted to kind of see, okay, what's the difference in results using the same prompt on all of these different platforms. And given that ChatGPT and Bard are the biggest ones, we thought, hey, why not try those two and show everyone what the results are so that they can make a more informed decision about where they should use what tool. And I'm really, really excited for it because this is something that I've been analyzing in my own business for a while, and I'm pretty sure that you have as well. So it's finally cool to bring it to the public as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Why? One reason is that obviously we try and figure out, how prompting works and stuff like that. And the core idea is we also want to see that one, how different platforms kind of operate around it, right? As well as how what do you say it? How same platform behaves in multiple geographies. All right, that's also good, why we want to go
Right.
ahead and test it, right? So how do they operate? Say if I'm trying to run the same prompt, and how would the same prompt work in India versus US? And you see, as with technology, my camera is acting up, but that's all right. We'll still go ahead and and continue this. All right. So okay, right. So you want to go ahead and try one prompt, with the ChatGPT and
Yes.
show how it works. All right. Let's
Yes.
see how it goes.
Let me share my screen first of all. Okay, share the screen, and I'm gonna select my Chat GPT right here. All right, let me just check that uh, the screen is on. Let me know when you can share the screen on the camera. There we go. All right, so just a little bit of a background as to the prompt that I'm about to give. This doesn't look like your typical short prompt. It is a prompt that I've developed over time, helping out people that wanted to start their business. So I've worked with a bunch of people that wanted to quit their 9 to 5s and start their own business, but didn't know really where, right? And so I think that ChatGPT is best used as an assistant. I see it as someone that is on the other side of the table for me, and I have a conversation with them, and they can advise me and run ideas by me, and we can have a back and forth chat. So after a lot of trial and error, I've developed this long sort of prompt, and I'm going to read it to you guys right now, that kind of helps you come out with ideas for business. So let me read it to you guys, okay? So the prompt says, I want you to act as my expert business consultant and mentor. See, notice that I'm using GPT 3.5 right now. It is always good to give ChatGPT a little bit of background as to what kind of role you want it to take, especially when using the older version of GPT-3. We're going to try GPT-4 as well in a second. And I said, I want you to give me 10 ideas for a business. Here's where the prompt gets interesting. I need you to give me original, new, out of the box ideas that you cannot find on the internet. Use brainstorming techniques like 180 thinking, lateral thinking, and word association. I also want you to create these ideas based on parameters that I give you. So far, I've told it what I wanted to think like, what I wanted to create, and how I wanted to go about finding solutions to what I wanted to create. Because the more that you can shape its thinking, the more narrow and focused that you can get, which a lot of times is very important when dealing with this sort of AI tools that can give you very generic answers. I also tell it, don't create ideas that don't follow the following parameters. The business will be highly profitable and automated. It should be within insert industry. So let's test it live here. So it should be within the let's see, graphic design industry. I'm only starting with, let's say you're only starting with $500, right? You haven't saved up a lot of money. You're starting with $500, and I have this main skills. Of course, illustration. I also know a little bit about customer service, so because I've worked in the past in customer service, let's say. And finally, I understand how to utilize 3D graphics. Okay, so now it's going to do, it's going to come up with ideas based on the parameters that I've given it. So let's see what the results are. So I want you to see, it's going to tell me certainly here are 10 unique and profitable business ideas, right? So it understood that I need 10 ideas within the graphic design industry, considering my budget and my skills, right? So it's going to give me a few ideas right here. So one of them is custom 3D printed illustrations. Another one is online graphic design course, printable 3D design templates. This one's pretty cool. This one's scalable, right? It's very interesting. There's another one that says freelance graphic design agency, which is a bit more, natural. Customized 3D greeting cards, that's cool. Virtual interior design services. This one's very interesting as well, right? You can even develop an app from that. And you can kind of get the idea, right? 3D printed merchandise store and so on and so forth. This is what ChatGPT 3.5 came up after this prompt, Alec.
I think they came up, with a very, very, very good list of what you can do. So now what I'll do is I will try and run the same prompt. So okay, so now here's what we're trying to do. Vlad is sitting in US, right? North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Vlad? All right. And I am in Delhi, India. So I'm going to run the same prompt in Bard. So what we're doing is with two different geographies and two different platforms, and let's see, with the exact same prompt, can it work? Can it, bring out certain suggestions? Are they same? Are they different? How are they different? And how does it work basically, right? So that's the idea. And for that, I will quickly load my, my screen. Just give me a sec. And we do have a few viewers as well, so yeah, it should work. Let's see. I'm trying to change the background screen, and yeah, my camera is I think off again, but that's all right. So okay, so now let me bring in my Bard. Let's see what it does. Okay. All right. Just to give you a little bit of background, so Vlad and I are, have the same list on a sheet, which we are trying to use so that it becomes easier for us to kind of make sure that we talk about the exact same thing, right? So Vlad, the changes that you did, can you just put them in the sheet itself
Yes.
so that we get the
Yes.
same industry? And
Yeah, let me see. Let me give you the same one. And by the way, I think we did talk about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it would also be very cool if later on in this stream, for now, so for people start thinking of their own prompts that they would like us maybe to try
yeah,
on both of those. I just updated it on the sheet for you, so you can copy it.
sure. Alrighty. And you should be able to see my screen as well. Okay. All right, everybody. Let's present and share screen. Share screen is easier with two monitors. Okay, that's the standard. I'll pick a window and I put dashboard. All right.
Let's see.
So cool. Do you see it?
Yep.
All right. So let me bring it up. Okay, cool. Now that's good. Now I will just go ahead. It's Bard. Like that's the interface of how Bard looks. And now they've just very recently added, this. They're trying to help people out. Who are trying to test with Bard, which is how do you understand, characterize a book, how something works. You can create guides and stuff like that, and that's where we will do. Create a business case or 10, profitable businesses, and then you can explore. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the same skill. So it says that I want you to act as my expert business consultant and mentor, and I want you to give me 10 ideas for a business, and I need you to give me original, new, out of the box ideas that you cannot find on the internet. That's again, it's too too good to be true, because essentially they are getting all this data from what all has been fed on the internet and what their particular systems have been fed. But let's see. So use brainstorming techniques like 180 thinking, lateral thinking, and word association. I also want you to create these ideas based on parameters that I give you. All right. And don't create ideas that don't follow these following parameters. This is the key. Again, I'm just trying to, paraphrase the same thing, or rather, read it verbatim. The business will be highly profitable and automated. It should be within the graphic design industry. And I am only starting with $500, and I have these main skills: illustration, customer service, 3D graphics. Let's see how it works. And I just pressed enter. I think, Vlad, while this is coming up with, what we can also do is put all these outputs, right, in the same sheet, and then, have a comparison,
Oh yeah, definitely.
right?
I'm gonna
Right?
start copying mine.
Yeah. Okay. So now that I have mine, let me see. It says that 10 highly profitable and automated graphic design business ideas for $500 with illustration, customer service, and 3D graphic skills. Cool. Fantastic. So it says here are 10 original out of the box business ideas. Fun AI powered graphic design assistant. Good. Now it's kind of not really out of the box because everybody's doing it, right? Canva just launched their own AI tool, and everybody's doing it now. Microsoft had come in earlier with their own Canva style templatized tool, which is decent. I'll not say it's very good, but yeah. But anyhow, so next is personalized 3D avatars. This is definitely not out of the box, right? Because we have Ready Player Me, right? Been doing it for a long time now, and there are different other ones, unique, and few other ones. Illustrated ebooks. I mean, we've had it since ages, right? Comics. I mean, Archie's is something that has worked in both places, like in US and India.
Yeah.
So those are illustrated comics, right? But now they were converting into ebook, PDF format,
Right.
right? So they would have it. On-demand product design. That's interesting. So it says, so I'll dwell a little bit. So partner with manufacturers to offer on-demand product design services, but isn't that what standard graphic design requirement is?
Yeah, it's just
Uh,
worded differently.
yeah, exactly. It says this would allow customers to create their own custom products, such as t-shirts, mugs, and phone cases, without having to order large quantities, right? Which means that you could use your illustration and 3D graphic. So I remember there's a website in your side of the world, which is Etsy, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just you just put in your images or whatever, and then they can simply create t-shirts and sell, right? Cool. So then you can do graphic design masterclass. I mean, maybe it can create all the templates and presentation faster. Subscription based graphic design services. Okay, how is that unique? I don't know. White label graphic design services. This is something I'm doing the work for somebody, right? So doesn't matter. Graphic design templates, graphic design stock assets. I mean, Shutterstock. They've been doing it for a long time. Graphic design marketplace. Okay, so that's a little interesting. Create an online marketplace where people can buy and sell graphic design and service assets. This would allow you to take a commission on each transaction. Okay, so there are some, I'm forgetting that name, for that motion graphics. There's a website, right, where you can just go ahead and get all their motion graphics.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm forgetting that name, and a lot of people use that. But anyhow, it's still there. It's not a novel idea, and then they try to say. So, what was your 10 ideas, right? Let's have a quick comparison.
Yeah, so the 10 ideas that I had were the custom 3D printed illustrations, online graphic design course, printable 3D design templates, which was basically develop. Let me go back to ChatGPT, which is better. Develop a collection of 3D design templates for various applications such as home decor, fashion accessories, or party decorations, which
Hmm.
was okay. The design agency, 3D greeting cards, virtual interior design services. These exist, especially like they have apps. They have had apps for a while now, especially where you can like kind of scan the room and then you can kind of place.
Exactly.
I think IKEA did it, if I'm not wrong, where you can place stuff in there from IKEA to see how it would look like in the room with AR. Um,
Yeah.
Graphic design templates, marketplace. CreativeMarket.com already exists for that.
Yeah.
Digital illustration subscription service, 3D printed merchandise store. That's pretty cool. But it's 3D printing has been around for a second. You can buy your own 3D printer and have it at home. Graphic design automation software. Develop a software tool that automates certain graphic design tasks such as logo generation, social media post creation. This already exists. So to be honest, I'm kind of not disappointed, but kind of like both of them are kind of generic. Like we didn't strike gold. Let's say. Like I wouldn't probably go ahead and choose one of these. Do you know what I
Yeah.
wanted to
Exactly.
try? I wanted to
Yeah.
see if we can follow up on both sides and ask and tell it like, look, these prompts aren't these results aren't that creative. I want you to really
Yeah.
strive and do something out of the box creative that is not as generic. So let
Yeah.
me let me write a quick prompt if you're okay with that, and we can both put it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's
Let's
go
do
ahead and
that.
do that. All right.
uh,
So let me, rephrase. We have few people watching it as well. I'm following LinkedIn as well live right now,
yeah.
and we do have few people live. So what we're trying to do is, see how these. Okay, so we have to agree to the point, Vlad, where that at least there was certain differentiation, difference
Yes.
between the output. That was one check, right? So output was different. So it could be because of the platform or the location, right? Given like because they are being fed, I probably geographically or demographic data as well. So they are
Yeah.
trying to give output as per the demography, as simple as that. What would people prefer in India, like in Delhi, and what would people prefer in North Carolina and US for the same kind of works,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how it might reflect different businesses that are started within the US and North Carolina versus businesses that people are trending and starting in India or have started in India, because again, all of this information is based on stuff that's already been fed to it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that's something interesting to see as well, both like the Bard, which technically Bard has access to live internet, right? So it can browse stuff if I'm not wrong.
Yes,
But
it can. It
yeah,
can.
yeah. That's why I think it's interesting. But
Yeah.
let me don't give me boring ideas. Okay, so I got this new prompt, but I agree with you. There's definitely some changes in between what ChatGPT came up with in the United States versus what ChatGPT came up with. I mean, Bard came up with in India. So I think that's very
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so I pasted it underneath all of them at the bottom, so you can take that prompt if you want and put into Bard. Let's see how Bard reacts
Let's see.
first.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I just do it. While I was doing the talking, Vlad was kind enough to give us a new prompt. Okay, so now it's at the stage. So let's watch. Let's see what magic it does. I mean, it's fun, doing stuff like this live. Right?
It
I
is. It
really
is.
like this. I really like this.
Yeah, so we said that the results are generic and boring. Lots of businesses already do this. You need to think about more creative, out of the box ideas. Don't give me boring ideas. Let's see how it reacts. I also want to see how it speaks to you. Like, does it apologize? ChatGPT apologizes sometimes.
Yeah, I know. And some sweet.
Yeah,
Let's see. What is it doing? Oh yes, it has apologized now.
of course it has. And it's giving you two options.
Yeah. This is draft A and draft B. So one is I apologize for the previous results. Here are some more creative and out of the box. Okay. Okay. So now what it has done is, if you look at the left side, it has done a little more, uh, niching down what they have done.
Yes.
It's saying
Yes.
AI powered graphic design assistant for social media,
Nice.
right? Uh, and then personalized 3D printed avatars. I'm
That's
not so
cool.
sure. Idea wise, it's fantastic, so that I can create copies of me
Right.
and put them around my
Yeah.
my physical space. Illustrated non fungible tokens.
Oh, that's just NFTs.
Yeah, right. Interesting. And it says on demand graphic design services. Okay, so that's standard.
Yeah.
Graphic design masterclass for children. That's a little unique because nobody does master classes for children right now.
Right. Right. Right.
That's a little unique. You can say that. All right. Now let's look at subscription based white label. That's already done. Let's see what on the right side. So it says interactive infographics.
Okay.
And
Still
but
design.
yeah, still design, right? Augmented reality design.
Look at you. They're trying to put you out of business.
Yeah, man, I do that, right? I've been doing AR VR since what, a long time now. Anyway, so VR environments, virtual reality environments, craft immersive VR experiences. But who can do that? How can I start that at $500? That's
Yeah.
a big question.
It's a bit hard.
Exactly. AR I can still understand because I can build the 3D stuff, on a decent laptop or decent machine, and then I can partner with companies who can help me do that. Like, I'm just assuming, if I don't have to do it,
Right.
essentially it's my business, I do that, Unreal,
Right.
Unity. But I'm just saying, if I have to just do that as a business with $500, I can start there.
Right. But VR
All
is a bit
right.
more difficult. You need Unity developers or whatever. It's not as cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only cheap, but then $500 is like nothing,
Right.
to get the person.
Right.
Right. And then you have customizable graphic design templates, tame, boring, 3D printed design services. So, except I think two or three things rather, in both sides, where
Yeah.
one side it is niching down, the other side is trying to come up with something. I don't
Yeah.
think there's much interest.
I think it's interesting
Let's
though
go
how
to
on the left side on the draft A it's tried to basically its strategy was let's niche down. Like rather than
yeah,
come up with more vague ideas or whatever or weird
yeah,
combinations of stuff, let's niche down, which is honestly for businesses a smart choice, right? It's always good to kind of niche down, especially in today's marketplace. So I like
exactly.
this. I like at least its thinking. If we were to go forward with this prompt, I'd be like, I like the way you think for draft A because you're thinking of niching down. Come up with
Yeah.
like 10 more, something like I would keep pressing on that side if I were to continue and actually have to use them.
You know what it sounds like. So it kind of works like the way you do it in a professional office structure. So where say, suppose where you ask somebody from the team to do some work done, right? Suppose you are a manager, for example,
Right.
right? Or if your manager tells you to get something done, and when you go and take the output, and that person is not really satisfied, and they'll ask, try again, try it like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that, you tell
Yeah.
these,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like someone coming into your office, bringing you the work that they had, and then you're like, okay, I like this. I like where you're going with that. I like the way you're thinking.
yeah,
Do more of
yeah,
this, and how about we fix these two things? That's how I see it. Like if you have a conversation with it, it is
yeah,
much better than if you just prompt it once and then you're like, wow, whatever, I don't like this. It's
yeah.
being a good manager, being a good leader can help you in being a good prompter as well.
Exactly, and that's the reason, I want to bring that out, that there's hordes of jobs coming to people who want to, like prompting jobs, people who can prompt, right? So if
Right.
you can get this output of, this 3 or 4 iterations in a 1 or 2 times, you have a winner,
Exactly.
right? So yeah, so do your due diligence and start thinking, right? People keep saying that AI will take away jobs. It's a challenge, it's happening to a lot of places, but then it's kind of creating new opportunities as well.
Right. Right. I think it is. I think it's an amazing brainstorm assistant, and
Yeah,
it's an amazing assistant that can help you power the ideas that you already have rather than giving you the ideas that then you power up. So I think it's cool. Let's
exactly.
see. I pasted the same
What's
prompt in ChatGPT. Let's see what it came up with. So
Yeah.
it also apologizes, and it's very nice. It says, "I apologize for the previous suggestions. Let's think more creatively and come up with some unique and out of the box ideas." Right. So I have niche 3D printing services. So it didn't tell me which niche, but it said niche. So I guess
Yeah.
that's interesting. So it's
Mhm.
cool to see that both of the models tried like going niche down. Virtual art gallery for 3D art. That's kind of like a metaverse virtual
Metaverse.
environment. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not bad. It's I think it's something that's been done. Augmented reality marketing. Okay, that's at least is not just augmented reality experiences, is marketing. So utilizing your 3D graphics expertise, you can offer AR marketing services. But it's been done
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while. However, it's
Absolutely.
still an improvement based on whatever it gave me before.
Yeah.
Illustrated children's books with AR. I've seen it being done, but I think it's a cool thing, especially since kids nowadays, sadly, I see them a lot with the phones at the table and whatnot. Have the book in there and like scan the book and it kind of comes to life, right? So if you're reading about a dragon, the dragon comes to life. We've done
Yeah.
something similar, prototyped it in college. Virtual
Yeah.
reality architectural visualization. That's kind of like a what do you call it? Like a digital twin. I think
Digital
that's like
twin. Exactly.
yeah, I think the
Yeah.
digital twinning, which is okay. Again, nothing crazy out of the box, but definitely more interesting than the ones before. 3D printed custom jewelry, very very done. I actually had a friend who did grills, like the
Yeah.
teeth, 3D printing them. 3D scanning and printing studio, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
AR based e-commerce try on. I've again very nice, more creative, but it's still being done by many people. But again, it's nice. It's taking it to the next level, right? So it's combining e-commerce, which is that we've had like selling stuff with AR, which is 3D stuff, and going a level deeper and combining them too
Yeah.
with the try on and the fashion. So it's adding in a third thing, which is like the fashion stuff or the makeup. That's pretty cool. 3D printed board games, again, that's it says sell them on platforms like Kickstarter or Etsy, which is again it's kind of like a hustle, not a business.
Yeah.
And virtual art classes with 3D models. Host online art classes where you teach students how to create art, incorporating 3D models into lessons. I mean, it's a good niche, especially if you're trying to make some dollars on the side. i'm
Exactly.
i'm
And
more happy with these ones, to be honest.
oh yeah, and these are, like they're trying to give you some relatable. See, eventually you have to understand. We asked it to create businesses, right? It cannot go
Right.
beyond something which is, which what people like, right? So they
Right.
have to be in the realm of what, it's say from a SEO point of view, what people liking right now, and they want to create a business model around it. So
Right.
virtual art classes with 3D models, to some extent, it's a
Yeah,
good idea,
I agree. And
right?
within the $500 budget that I have, I would say almost all of them could be done. You can buy a 3D printer for a
Yeah,
hundred to 200, spend another 100 on marketing, and another 50 on a website, and you're good. So I think
yeah.
that fit the most of them fit the prompt, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this is
yeah. I
amazing.
think this is a good one. So I think, and once you press, so what I am thinking right now, when you keep pressing more, as the processing speed increases, what's
Yeah,
happening at the server where this is all being processed? Is it running faster right now? Is it trying
yeah,
to say, "Oh my God, what did I do?" you know,
yeah.
and and
Correct,
the,
correct.
yeah, and this stream sounds more like a Twitch screen. We're just having fun right now with,
Yeah.
eating and everything than a professional StreamYard. But anyway,
No, I love
let's
it.
yeah, I like this too. Slightly more casual. All right,
Yeah.
let's try one more thing. Let's try
Yeah.
one more because it's already been half an hour now. What?
Yeah, let's
Punchline? Yeah,
do. You choose one. You choose one now.
yeah. So for me, I think let's do the fun one. Let's see what you have to say. There was
Yeah.
fun. I want you to play a choose your own adventure game with me where you ask me questions and I decide how to proceed. That's
Yeah.
fun. Let's try the
Yeah.
comedy. Create a script with jokes for a comedy show talking about peanuts and expand on it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm curious to see because comedy is something that AI still very much struggles with, especially
Yeah.
being politically incorrect. Like that's something that it struggles with a lot. It's been coded so that it doesn't offend anybody. Anybody.
Yeah.
So let's see how it does.
Okay, so I'm going to start this time first. Let's
Yeah.
see. Okay, so I'll read out the prompt again for viewers' understanding. It says, oh, see here, it says Etsy somewhere. If you can see the screen,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah. I see
right.
it.
It mentioned somewhere, Etsy. Like interesting, So we're thinking now. It's see. Okay, so it's taking feedback as well. Which draft do you prefer? A, no preference. B, wow, no preference. Thank you. Okay, so like, it's a simple, the new one is the simple prompt. It says create a script with jokes for a comedy show talking about peanuts, right? And expand on it. Let's hit enter. Let's see what it does. So what we're doing right now is on Bard. Okay, so we have some comments from people as well. Some, what do you say? Not comments, but reactions.
Reactions. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, for people who are there right now who are listening, I would suggest if you want us to pick a topic and create a prompt and see, how these both systems work, uh, we would be happy to do that, right? So ask your type of prompt that you want. Okay, so let me just read out now. It says stand-up comedy script about peanuts. Interesting. Peanuts, they are a classic snack food, and they're also pretty versatile. You can eat them plain. You can put them in a sandwich and peanuts. I don't know. Peanut butter sandwich is
Yeah.
separate, but yeah. Or you can even make peanut butter and jelly. Okay, so but what do you really know about peanuts? For example, did you know that peanuts are actually legumes? Okay, that means they are related to beans, peas, and lentils. Who knew? Interesting. And did you know that peanuts are a good source of protein and fiber? That's right. Peanuts are actually healthy for you. So next time you're looking for a snack, reach for a handful of peanuts instead of them. So how is that funny? That's
Yeah.
a healthy
I'm waiting for the
device.
punchline.
Yeah, man, I'm street. Okay, so let's see. Of course, peanuts aren't just healthy; they're also delicious. Okay, so now that was a little history. So if you think about it, peanuts are basically double legumes. That's right. Peanuts are a legume squared. That was not
My
funny.
God.
So so
Painful.
now, yeah, actually yes. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking peanuts are funny, and the answer is yes. Peanuts are funny, and here are a few jokes about peanuts. So what do you call a peanut in a suit? A peanut in a shell.
Oh my God. Brilliant.
Not bad. I mean, not good.
How did I think about it? How did I think
So
about it?
what do you call a what do you call a peanut that's always late? A procrastination.
What?
Where's the a procrastination? Okay.
Oh my God, these are so bad.
Yes. What do you call a peanut that's always happy? A nutty butter. Okay, that's bad.
Wow. Wow.
What
I
do you call
expected
a
better.
yeah? Same here, man. What do you call a peanut that's always angry? A salty dog.
Oh my God, zero humor skills. You broke Bard.
Yeah, man. What do you call a peanut that's always tired? A peanut buttercup. Okay. Sorry. Bad. Very bad. Let's now let's quickly go to ChatGPT. Let's see what it comes out with.
Yeah, let's see. Let me pitch that.
Let okay. Now I'll share a screen. Here it is. Cool.
You got it on? Okay, cool. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna use GPT-4 for this one because I think we have to bring in some the big guns for this one after what we just heard. Create
Yeah.
a script with jokes for a comedy show talking about peanuts and expand on it. The Nutty Comedy Hour. Spotlight on a lone microphone stand. The curtain rises, revealing the stage decorated with large peanut shells. A comedian wearing a peanut patterned tie steps up to the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nutty Comedy Hour. And before you ask, no, you won't be allergic to this content unless you're allergic to laughter. Oh
Ooh,
my God,
nice.
it's not
Not
doing.
bad.
Yeah,
No,
but
but not
I mean,
bad. Not bad. It's
better,
better
you
than
know?
the better than Bard. Better than Bard.
Audience chuckles at this point, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
peanuts have always fascinated me. They're like the introverts of the nut world. They're always in a shell and kind of hard to get to know. Okay, so what I appreciate is that at least it makes sense. It's not just throwing stuff together randomly and it's like,
Yeah.
huh, is this funny? You know?
Yeah.
Ever notice our peanuts are the only nuts you have to work for? I mean, walnuts in a shell, pistachios in a shell, but peanuts, oh, they make you dig deep, 2 layers just to get into the heart of the matter. And the audience,
Not
oh my God,
bad.
it has an audience member that screams, just like my ex.
Yeah. That was more
So
funny.
that's entertaining. Okay, I'm gonna go over a few more. Exactly. And like your ex, once you've gone through all of that effort, you sometimes think, was that really worth it? Oh my God. But seriously, peanuts are versatile. They've got a whole lineup. There's a peanut butter, peanut oil, peanut sauce, peanut brittle. And for the sophisticated, we have the peanut gallery. We have to a section of the audience where people are wearing peanut hats. Oh my God, I feel like we're in a very bad movie right now.
Yeah.
Somebody screams, represent. Okay. I'll do just a couple more because this gets on for long. If Peanuts were to run for office, their campaign would be vote for Peanuts, we stick together. Okay, sure. But it's not all fun and games. I tried dating a peanut once. Yeah, but she was too nutty for me. And the worst part, she had this ex named Cashew who was always lurking around. Okay. All right. The last one. I mean, have you ever seen a peanut doing yoga? It's all fun until they try the split. Okay. So
Not bad.
it's not again,
It's
it at least takes
funnier
into
than the
account
Bard.
context and it actually makes sense. It's
Yes.
not like, what do you call a peanut that's like whatever and it has nothing to do with the
What
setup.
which is late? Procrastination.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
like the punchline has nothing to do with the setup. So at
Yeah.
least here the setup has a punchline that's somewhat related to it. However, it's still painful. It's very, very
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's
I-
still trying to, like on the good side, it's still trying to create you an essence, like how the audience will be there, what sort of setup is there, there's a
right.
stage and you have a lighting. So it's kind of create something for a show, right?
I think it tells a lot that you shouldn't like. I would come up. I don't know if maybe they already have one, but I would come up with a bot that can utilize the just generative AI. That's not really uh, limited by the political correctness of ChatGPT, because I think that humor is best when and I don't want to get too much into humor, but it's best when there's a certain conflict in it and it's making light of some conflict, right? I think that's we've utilized comedy as a way of like getting over conflict and rough periods in time. And here it's saying, note, it's important to be cautious when making jokes about allergies, as they can be severe and life-threatening for many people. Always
Yeah.
consider the audience and setting when making light of certain topics. Yeah, no, of course. And everyone knows that there's allergies. Everything that, there, like, I don't think that ChatGPT and these AI tools can make jokes, because I think the creators were like, "Hey, let's make sure that it doesn't offend anybody, because then they would just be in trouble. But I'll make a bot that have no limits. Just give me the most obscene, offending jokes, funniest jokes that you can make about peanuts. And I think they'll come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Oh
Still
yeah,
entertaining to see.
absolutely. Oh, no, no, absolutely. And I think what they need to do is, rather than just train on these models and try and put constraints, they should put
Yeah.
the scripts of all the the live people who do the the nightlife, the Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live, and the David Letterman, and then there's so many others, right? There was one we used to work with, what's his name, the Daily Show, before Trevor Noah.
Right.
Trevor,
Right. Right.
there was a
Yeah.
guy with before Trevor Noah. Yeah, and so that was good. Even with Trevor Noah, it's fantastic, right? So let's have that kind of scripts being fed into their system, so that there is some fun coming out.
Right. Right. And I'm sure that they've been trained on a lot since it covered the whole internet and stuff that's like, very offensive. And, when I don't know if people were there when they first released ChatGPT, but it was like a wild west at the beginning. Like it would tell you some wild stuff. And I miss those days because it was wild. Like it was fun. And you could kind of get around and you could do like, there was this jailbreak mode called Dan, and if you told it to like act like Dan, and Dan doesn't have any like moral or ethical like limits, it would come up with the craziest stuff ever. That's when people were like prompting like, how would you get rid of everyone on the world? How would an AI take power of all the world? Like dystopian stuff like that. And then OpenAI came in and they're like, oh my God, people are kind of freaked out about this. Let's like suppress it. Which I think it's an interesting conversation. Like, should we have an AI that would allow you to search for anything and would allow you to kind of create anything that's has a sort of no limit, which would offer you more freedom, but also maybe more danger in some hands that are not, the correct ones? Or would you rather have this very, very censored version, but knowing that whoever created it has access to the full version? Because OpenAI can do some wild stuff in the background that we might never know
Oh,
about it with the model.
absolutely. So it's the the consumer side which is kind of constraints and put all these restrictions and everything. But internally, I'm sure they'll be doing a lot of stuff
Oh
or
yeah.
testing or checking, and see, from a generic point of view and the kind of scale at which they operate, both systems, BARD, and and then you have few more coming in. They will have to do that, right? Because see, technology is bipartisan. It depends, on the hands of the person who's using it.
I agree.
So they have to make sure that there are constraints, that if it gets into somebody's wrong person's hand, it it doesn't exploit and harm the other side much. So
Yeah.
it's in the kind of a self interest of all the right ones to make sure that these constraints are there. But yeah, but from a freedom of expression point of view, is it enough? I mean, see, putting constraints and all that, that's fine. That's important thing. It's like regulation that you have, in financial industries
Right.
and stuff like that. It's important, right? It's like, you need to have a traffic light, otherwise it's always be accidents.
Yeah.
Simple, very simple one. But what's important is it limiting its freedom of understanding? Essentially what large language models are doing in the spatial world is they're trying to make sure that think like humans, right?
Right.
I talk, or you don't. We talk about it, or we don't talk. That's what they're trying to build.
Yeah.
That your answers are like a human talking to you. So then, isn't it that you're trying to control a human's ability to think by
Exactly.
putting these constraints?
Exactly. Yeah. You're trying to shape by
That
shaping
is
what you
it.
can ask and what results come when you ask. You're definitely shaping global, global theory, global perspective, or even local, right? Because each one of those differs. But I think that just like with many other powerful technologies, including nuclear, it's always a double-edged sword. If you have
Yeah,
no filters, then it can be lethal. And if you have filters, then who's putting the filters and why is it them? And how can we trust them to put the filters on? However, I do
exactly.
believe that just like we've used to, it used to be that only big companies used to be able to like code programs and then launch software. And then now today with a no code tool, you can build your own AI app. Just like that, right now, only a few companies can train their models on so much data. Soon, you're going to be able to train it like your own model on billions of points of data, which it won't, and you won't have that limitation like OpenAI limits you to like ask it, for very shady stuff. So that's a reality. I always like to think 2 3 steps ahead. Like right now, that's a limit on commercial because nobody has been able to train their own AI. Nobody. I mean, not the it's not in every household that just like you log in onto your social media. Oh, I've trained my own AI. So when we are going to be able to train our no AI with no code, just dump information and upload entire terabytes, hundreds of terabytes of stuff into it like it's nothing, there is nobody going to be stopping you. And if there is someone stopping you somehow, it means that it's going to be even worse of time. So I think that it's a double-edged sword. And just like with nuclear, once nuclear bombs were done, and Oppenheimer just came into cinemas a few months ago. Once we've developed nuclear-powered bombs, okay, so if now everybody has nuclear powers, we have the power to eradicate the whole world. Now, if everybody has access to AI at
Yeah,
a certain point, everybody can kind of potentially use it or misuse it. So
yeah,
I don't think it can be stopped. I don't think this when we can't go in our garage and make a nuclear bomb that easily. You
yeah.
need you need materials. You need like a lot of knowledge. it's not as easy, but almost everyone can train, like with a little bit of training, can train their own powerful AI. That's
Yes,
crazy to
that's
think
why
about.
that's the simpler one, and what I was thinking was, while you were saying that, is that we all have our social media profiles. So if we have our own AI subset, which we can train, like you suggested. So we have all our social media profiles, and we connect that source with those social media profiles, and it gets trained on us. Like it gets trained on Vlad, it gets trained on Alec, and then when you want to put some information out about yourself, right? Then it's kind of replicating you. So then you go to MetaHumans, or go to some website, or you can create a digital avatar, and then you feed all that information. It's you, right?
Right.
That's what with this recent call between Mark Zuckerberg and Friedman
Oh
was
yeah,
about,
that was crazy.
right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so they had, so it was more not about AI, but it was more about how do you have the digital avatars look like you, more about
Right.
the quality of it, using the Meta Quest. But that's where we're heading.
Yeah, and I had a very interesting conversation with someone from Kenya the other day, because I was telling him, how very soon it's going to be very dangerous for you to have your personal sound of your voice and image online, because anybody can clone it, anybody can copy it, and then recreate a deepfake of you doing something or saying something that you haven't done, which can then potentially be presented as evidence in a court of law. And he said, you know what, in Kenya, video footage is not admissible as a proof of a crime in court. So even if you have somebody on CCTV robbing a store, that's not enough to bring as evidence in a court of law to condemn someone. And he was like, you know what, until now I thought that that was a bad thing, because of course you have somebody on video and you can't, like,
Yeah,
here it is the guy, he stole. Right now, though, when anybody is able to manufacture video won't be admissible anymore. I don't know if that's something that's going to be happening in other places, but think about it. It is very easy to copy someone's voice, like a voice call or a voice note, and you can just
yeah,
present it in court and be like, look what this person told me, they were going to kill so and so at 5 p.m. And then your alibi doesn't check out. That's it's very strong proof. And so, you know, I think that, again, we're living in a very weird future right now, and everybody's like, I'm the kind of guy that's like, don't stop, don't just like disagree and be like, I'm not going to use AI, because you're going to be left behind. But at the same time,
yeah.
use it with a little bit of consciousness and awareness
Caution,
that,
yeah, yeah,
it's just like it can get very nasty very quick. So think in the future, don't think now. That's what I always tell people.
yeah. So that's similar to you have a fast car, but doesn't mean that you have to drive at the top speed.
Exactly. Right. Most of them come to, like, some of them are like 200-300 kilometers an hour. And I'm like, where are
Yeah,
you going to get to 300 kilometers an hour? And why are you, how, like, and if you're
yeah,
doing it, then, but again, it's the same debate. Should cars be limited in terms of speed? No, I think let the 300 kilometers an hour, and make people understand why it's not a smart choice to go that fast. That's what I would do rather than limit it. I'm a proposal of, let's let people free and think for themselves, and then educate them on the repercussions rather than limit them. I'm always more like a libertarian kind of guy.
no, it's good, but then see, I'll give a very simple example. People say that with Web3 is the option. You and I both are building in different sides of Web3. I'm
Right.
on the design and technology side, you're on the marketing and the other sales side, right?
Right.
So I say that people are not ready for decentralization. Why? Because people are not ready for ownership. And the right example for that is, which I always give is, you let the traffic signal, the traffic signal, let the powers off for say 20 minutes, just as an experiment, and see how many people actually wait for one, like one person goes at one time, right?
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
would cram, and everybody will cram and beat at the center. That's essentially power, right?
Right. I agree.
So power, and how do you enable that, and what's your mindset? So that's where the challenge is. But yeah,
Yeah.
but that's for another day.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a great chat to continue at some point. And
Yeah.
I also think that it's very interesting. Today we kind of looked at the text generation AIs like ChatGPT and Bard. It would be cool. Maybe we can do it again with a bigger audience, more formal, whatever. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'd love to do it again. But also, I would love to do Midjourney and DALI 3, because let me tell you something. I'm building a lot of this learning platform graphics on like generative AI. It's doing a great job. I've generated over 1,000 images so far, 1,200 images so far in my life. Like I've spent tens of hours on this stuff. And I started out with Midjourney because Midjourney was my favorite. I'm a die-hard fan. I have like one account for me, one account for everyone that works for my company, because everyone that works for me needs to know ChatGPT and Midjourney. No debate about it. And I started on Midjourney, and then when DALL-E 3 came out, I was like, oh, I mean, DALL-E 2 kind of sucked. Let's see how good it is. And then I did it on DALL-E 3, and I was like, oh my god, I like it more than Midjourney. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It has some limitations. It doesn't have as much customization as Midjourney does. But in terms of the things that it created, the consistency in style, it was incredible. And I switched the entire graphics to DALL-E 3 for my website. So I think it would be cool if you want at some point to do that as well. Maybe bring some people over. Have another one. There's Leonardo.ai. There's another one. I don't remember.
So
There's a
I
couple
test
other
Leonardo.
tools
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
can
yeah.
choose.
I am testing Leonardo. It's fantastic. And there's
Yeah,
one more, I can share. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been testing Leonardo, and there was a couple of more as well, which are trying to create fantastic graphics. There was one with
yeah,
creating nice 3D graphics, nice environments, and based on prompts. So let's continue
yeah,
building on this, right?
yeah,
And yeah, and the idea, the get more people check the same prompt, and different geographies on different same platform. I know,
yeah.
for audience it might sound confusing, but we will explain when we get there.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if anything, it allows you to do this A/B testing. If I'm going to leave the people that are going to listen to this with anything, is right now with AI, the best thing you can do is test, and experiment, and A/B test, and spend a little bit of time like trying to have back and forth conversation with it, and keep pressing. And we talked a lot about, we didn't touch on what like how prompts differ depending on how
Yeah,
you phrase something. Depends on where you put a word, or where, if you put it at the beginning or at the end. If you put more of a weight on something or something else, depending on the length of the prompt, you get very different results. So rather than going in and copying and pasting, because there's everybody has their own like 10 prompts for whatever, don't like use this list, but take it and then make it your own. Try out taking some stuff out. Do you need everything in it? Most prompts are too long, in my opinion, including the one
yeah,
that I shared today. Like I don't use that anymore. I use something like shorter. So go out and test and see how it is, because it's cool for us to do this here. But I think what I want to leave people with is like, do what we're doing today, and go across all these platforms, especially since it's free to try ChatGPT, it's free to try Bard. Go out and
yeah.
try it out. Like we've never had this kind of tools in the history before at our fingertips for free. So it's there's no excuse why not to try.
Oh, absolutely. Just experiment and learn, what you have. And see it from that point of view where, that suppose you have a problem, you have a challenge. Forget the prompt. Just write that challenge, as you would tell somebody else, as it is.
Exactly,
And build from
exactly.
there, build from your, as they say, natural language. Build from there, and
Yeah,
then get into the, how prompts are written, how it can, give you much more, effective result. But great, Black.
exactly.
I think we've had a good chat, and I mean,
Yeah,
1 hour is
same here,
about to
man.
be over, right? And let's
Yeah.
continue building on this. And yeah, thank you so much for people who joined in and stayed for a long time. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alec. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, pleasure, man. See you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.